November 2024. To date, 885 import permits have been issued to 423 companies to import 4,430,000 metric tons of maize against a deficit of 1 million metric tons. Government continues to monitor the volume of imports, the stocks at millers, import prices and import sources ahead of the festive season in order to eliminate arbitrage opportunities. The nation is advised that a total of 563,961 metric tons of wheat have been harvested to date from the winter cereals production plan. Of this total, 91,149 metric tons have been delivered to the Grain Marketing Board, with 83,149 metric tons being from the Agricultural Rural Development Agency. Water availability and grazing conditions have begun to respond to the recent rains, and there has been a reduction in terms of the challenges in terms of water availability. Feeds have been distributed to 27 districts in order to support 107,000 cattle. Communities have been mobilized to complement government efforts. Meanwhile, the summer plan aims to increase production of the 2024-2025 cereals to 3,274,000 metric tons from the 744,271 metric tons in the 2023-2024 season. The overall production volumes of major crops are expected to increase by 347%. The country expects to receive normal to above normal rainfall during this season, and farmers have already started planting the summer crops across all provinces. A total of 3,241,000 hectares is targeted to be planted in terms of the summer crops this season as follows: maize 1,800,000 hectares, sorghum 418,000 hectares, pure millet 275,000 hectares, finger millet 27,000 hectares, soybean 77,000 hectares, groundnuts 385,000 hectares, sugar beans 55,000 hectares, roundnuts 110,000 hectares, and African peas 93,500 hectares. Of the total hectarage, 635,584 hectares is targeted for the climate-proof Presidential Input Supply Scheme, the Pfumvudza Intwasa program, and the rest by CBZ, AFC, NMB and other banks, and by the private sector and individual farmers. Meanwhile, the distribution of the presidential inputs, including cotton, has commenced. Progress with the silo expansion projects is on course at the following depots: the Kwekwe, the Mutare, Grade, the Mangura, Mburwi, Timber Mills, Lupane, and Rutenga. On cotton, a total of 427,550 farmers will be supported through contract farming, with a target covering an area of 278,750 hectares. The target production for tobacco during the 2024-2025 season is 300 million kilograms. Currently, 120,963 growers have registered for the 2024-2025 season, which is 8% more than the 112,445 growers who registered during the same period in 2023. Of these farmers' hectarage, some 93% is being produced under contracts from 27 registered contractors for the 2024-2025 season. The total area transplanted as of 20 November 2024 is 43,814 hectares compared to 41,699 hectares planted in 2023. Cabinet considered and approved the public-private partnership project between the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development and the Forbes Border Consortium on the upgrading and modernization of the Forbes border post, which was presented by the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Honorable Professor Mthuli Ncube, who is also the chairman of the Public-Private Partnerships Committee. As part of the Second Republic's drive towards modernization of the country's ports of entry, the Forbes Border Consortium has been contracted by the government of Zimbabwe for the upgrading and modernization of the Forbes border post in Manicaland province. The approval to implement the project is the second phase, following a full feasibility study conducted by the consortium and the ensuing validation process by the government of Zimbabwe. The Forbes Border Consortium will implement the modernization project under a design, build, finance, operate and maintain framework. The financing arrangement seeks to promote a private sector-led economy to reduce fiscal pressure whilst leveraging on royalty payments during the project life. The scope of the project includes, among others, the following: the renovation of the border post buildings and infrastructure, the construction of new buildings, facilities such as way bridges, roads and parking lots, the enhancement, improvement and integration of ICT systems, significant improvements to traffic processing systems, and the construction of staff houses. The infrastructural investment is poised to generate positive growth in terms of improved control of traffic along the Beira corridor, the establishment of a preferred transit link to the SADC region, increased treasury collections through enhanced monitoring and collection capabilities, improved security and efficiency for transporters, and improved connectedness of Zimbabwe to the region, thereby positioning the country in a position to benefit from the Africa Continental Free Trade Area through faster movement of goods in the region. Cabinet approved the amendment to the principles in terms of the amendment of the Postal and Telecommunications Act, Chapter 12.05, as presented by the Minister of ICT, Postal and Courier Services, Honorable Tatenda Mavetela. The amendment will ensure specialized expertise, operational efficiency, financial accountability, policy coherence and alignment with global best practices in terms of the utilization of the Universal Services Fund. These factors will contribute to the effective management and utilization of the fund, ultimately supporting the goal of universal access to communication services in Zimbabwe. Cabinet received and noted a report on the SADC Extraordinary Summit, which was held on the 20th of November 2024 in Harare, as presented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Honorable Emon Murwira. His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, chaired the summit as the SADC chairman. The summit was attended by heads of state and government from Botswana, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, and Mozambique. Tanzania was represented by the President of Zanzibar, whilst South Africa was represented by its Deputy President, whilst also the Kingdom of Eswatini was represented at the level of Prime Minister. Angola, Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, Seychelles, and Zambia participated at ministerial level. The summit considered also the report on the summit DRC, which also indicated that the mission had provided stability. The summit also noted the report submitted by the President of the Republic of Mozambique on the post-election political and security situation in Mozambique. The summit commended the SADC chairman, His Excellency the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, for convening the summit and for the excellent facilities that were put at the disposal of the visiting delegations. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for presenting today's highlights. We now move on to the first three questions. Can we ask our ministers to respond? Then we move to the last round again of the questions. Who's going to start?
I'm sure they are satisfied.
Yes?
Thank you very much, Chief Secretary. My name is Oleda Murwira from the Herald. My question is directed to Honorable Magete regarding to the proposed bill. Basically, I find out what is the difference between the current legal framework governing the utilization of the Universal Service Fund with the proposed law. What is it that is being envisaged in the proposed law? I thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. Honorable Mavetera, to respond to Jamaida Murwira in terms of the difference, in terms of the current legislation, in terms of the USF and the proposal. Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let me also thank Honorable for also that question that he asked. What we are proposing is for us to be able to come up with a structure which is quite efficient for us to be able to fully be able to deploy USF, especially in the rural areas and also for people with disabilities, and I would probably say all the marginalized groups that we have. We also realized that it is also important from the last principles which were there. We realized that there was a provision which was there to then remove it from portions. So what we have really wanted it to be having is for us to continuously be able to have this, for this is the international best practice. All other countries have been doing this, and again we also realized that the contributions of the USF fund comes from the telco players, and I think there was also an arrangement which also makes us become quite efficient for all parties involved in the USF fund. We also have realized that it is quite important for also for us as a government to also look at us looking at operational efficiency, also looking at how best we can also make sure that the resources within the USF fund will also be implemented and also be distributed efficiently. So for us, we're just looking at us making sure that we utilize the USF fund quite efficiently, and also see how we can then be able to also beef up the current USF board so that at least it is quite efficient. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further questions or query today? Anyone? The burning question or burning issue? Yes.
My name is Sharon Tawea from New Zealand. My question is directed to the Minister of Lands. According to this brief, presidential input distribution is commenced. I just wanted to find out how has been the coverage so far and probably which areas, and also maybe a follow-up to that. The country has received a bit of rains in the past few weeks. Maybe you could update the nation on in terms of planting, if farmers started doing anything since we are getting ready for the 2024-2025 season. Thank you.
Over to you, Minister.
Thank you, Chief. Honorable Masuka, the question from Sharon is about the current distribution in terms of coverage for the Pfumvudza Intwasa program and also the rains that has been received across the country. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Certainly the Meteorological Services Department predicted that we would have normal to above normal rainfall season, and we've had widespread rains throughout the country in the past 2 weeks, which is boon for farmers. The planting has commenced across the country. There are a few areas that have not received sufficient rain to start planting, but these are just isolated patches throughout the country. So farmers are excited coming from El Nino ravaged drought season, perhaps the worst in 43 years. So this is the whole sector has mobilized the resources, particularly for the presidential input program. 58% of the fertilizers are available, and of that fertilizer, 75% is being distributed. 90% of the maize seed has been received, and of that, 80% has already been distributed. Similarly, for cotton inputs, we've received over 80% of those inputs, and distribution is ongoing. So it's countrywide. Farmers are naturally excited. Initially, we had received just 50% of the total requirement of fertilizer of the 95,000 metric tons that we're looking at. So because the rains were upon us, we directed communities that we would distribute that package and give every farmer, the 3 million raw farmers that were targeting the beneficiaries, half of their input requirements so that they could all start with the season. And we've seen that communities have actually mobilized and have commenced planting. We will be able to give the updates on the actual planting progress in the near future. We have the teams out in the provinces that are collecting that data. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable ministers, for responding to those questions. We've come to the end of today's post-cabinet press briefing.